Shalom, welcome to the sequential Kitvei Ha'Ari series. Creation, in the way the Ari presents it here, does not begin with noise. It begins with Ratzon, divine will. The Blessed One desired to create the world in order to do good to His creatures, so that they could recognize His greatness, become a Merkavah above, and cleave to Him. A Merkavah means a chariot, a living vehicle for the divine presence. So, from the very first line, the purpose of creation is not random existence. It is goodness, recognition, intimacy, and devekut. That matters because the Ari is not describing creation like a mechanical event. He is describing a relationship. The Creator gives, the created being receives. But receiving is not passive. The creature has to become capable of holding the gift. And this is the great theme of the chapter. Light must come into vessels, but vessels must be able to bear the light. The first emanation is called a nekudah ahad, 1 point. But this point is not empty or simple in the ordinary sense. It includes within itself the 10 sefirot, the 10 sefirot, in a hidden way. The Ari compares it to a human being made of 4 elements. You do not look at a person and separately see fire, air, water, and earth standing apart. They are all there, but included together. In the same way, this first point contains the 10, but the 10 are not yet revealed as separate. This point is even higher than the present level called Keter. From this point, all the sefirot receive Sheva and Hayut, flow and life. The point contains both the Keli and the light, both the vessel and its soul. The Ari uses the image of a creature whose garment comes from itself. In other words, at this earliest stage, inner life and vessel are still bound together. There is no world of fragmentation yet. There is a single hidden root. Inside this point are 10 orot niyimin and 10 orot makifim, 10 inner lights and 10 surrounding lights. Or pnimi means the light that enters and is measured inside the vessel. Or makif means the light that surrounds the vessel because the vessel cannot yet contain it. The or makif is greater because it is not reduced into the limits of the keli. And this is already a deep teaching for daily life. Some light you can live now. Some light surrounds you. It is real, but you are not yet expanded enough to hold it. The Ari connects this idea to the Shekinah, speaking from between the kevurim. Divine presence can be present everywhere, yet still become focused in a narrow place. Infinite light does not disappear when it is concentrated. It becomes available. From the 1 point, 10 nekudot spread out, from Keter down to Malchut. The most refined part becomes Keter, and the remaining 9 are included in it. Then, from what remains, the finest part becomes Chokmah, and the remaining 8 are included in it. Then Binah emerges with the 7 within her. Then the 6 lower points emerge together, and after them Malchut. This condition is called Olam HaTohu Vevohu, the world of chaos and void, and also Olam HaNekudot, the world of points. Why points? Because each sefirah is standing in a kind of individual intensity. The lights are present, but the full harmony of Partzuvim is not yet established. The vessels are not yet inter-included in a repaired way. There is structure, but not enough relationship. There is power, but not enough integration. Then the upper light enters the vessels. The Or Ein Sof surrounds Keter, and from the inner light of Keter, there is drawn an inner and surrounding light to Chokmah. The surrounding light of Keter becomes an even higher surrounding light for Chokmah. And so the process continues downward, from Keter to Chokmah, from Chokmah to Binah, and from Binah to the Vav Ketzavot, the 6 directions or 6 lower sefirot. The chapter gives a very beautiful image. The verse says, Shemesh umagen Hashem Sevaot. Hashem is a sun and a shield. The sun is too powerful to stare at directly. To receive it, there must be some kind of reduction, distance, a window, a screen, or a tiny opening. This is how the Ari explains the descent of light. The light itself is too strong. It must be made receivable. In Atzilut, the light does not come through a true masach, a real separating screen. But even there, the vessel cannot receive the light without some form of measured descent. Keter receives through distance. Chokmah receives through a chalon, a window, associated with Yesod of Arich Anpin. Binah receives through another window, associated with Yesod of Abba. And Malchut receives through a very narrow opening, like a tiny nekaf, through Yesod of Zeir Anpin. This is not just technical language, it is spiritual psychology. Sometimes the light reaches you by distance, sometimes by a window, sometimes by a screen, sometimes by a narrow opening. When the opening is narrow, it does not mean the Creator is absent. It means the light is being adapted so that you can receive it and not be shattered by it. This also protects us from judging our own process too harshly. Sometimes we want everything pnimi be-panim immediately. Everything open, direct, intense and clear. But the Ari is showing that holiness often comes by stages. A window is not a rejection. A narrow opening is not abandonment. It is compassion. The light is being clothed in the exact form the vessel can survive, and eventually bless others without breaking, in peace and steadiness. The Ari then speaks about 7 hakafot, 7 encirclings or surrounding lights, all rooted in Malchut. One surrounding light goes from the upper part of Keter to the lower part of Keter. Another from the lower part of Keter to the upper part of Hokmah. Another through Hokmah, another to Binah, another through Binah, another to the 6 lower sefirot, and the 7th to Malchut. All of these are included in Malchut. This is why Malchut carries the mystery of the 7 hakafot. Then the chapter returns to a crucial point. From Beriah downward, the light does come through a real masach. That means the lower the worlds descend, the more the light is filtered. Not because the light is weaker in itself, but because creation needs gradation. Without gradation, there is no stable world. A world is built by measured revelation. When the 10 nekudot spread out, Keter is able to bear the light. Abba, which is Hokmah, can also receive from Keter, pnimi be-panim, face to face. But Ima, which is Binah, cannot yet receive the light from Hokmah face to face. She receives be-achor, back to back. This means the relationship is present, but not yet fully open. There is connection, but it is guarded. The Ari connects this to a symbolic form mentioned in the Zohar in Parsha Bereshit, where Abba and Ima are hinted as turned back to back. The main point for us is this. When the receiver cannot bear the direct flow, the flow does not stop completely. It becomes indirect. It turns around. It comes in a reduced way. Then comes the great crisis of Olam HaNekudot, Shevirat HaKelim, the breaking of the vessels. From Binah, light goes out toward the Vav Ketzavot. First Da'at emerges and becomes nullified. This is linked with the first king, Bela ben Beor. Then Hesed emerges and cannot bear the light, so its vessel breaks and descends. Then Gevurah, then the rest of the 7. These are the 7 kings of Edom, of whom it says that they ruled and then died. The Ari is teaching that the vessels did not break because the light was evil. They broke because the vessels were not yet able to contain the intensity of the light. This is one of the deepest patterns in spiritual life. A person can receive a real awakening, a real fire, a real illumination. But if the vessel is not ready, that same light can produce collapse, confusion, pride, fantasy, or burnout. The light continues to descend, as if to see whether a lower vessel, because of greater distance, might be able to bear it. But the lower vessels are also smaller. Distance helps, but smallness limits. So they too cannot hold the light. When the light reaches Yesod, there are two portions. One portion belonging to Yesod itself, and another portion meant to be passed to Malchut. The portion of Yesod is too great, so Yesod breaks like the others. But the portion meant for Malchut remains in Yesod, and because of this, Yesod is called Chai, living. This is connected to the phrase Ben Yishai Chai al Ha'adamah, the son of Yishai lives upon the earth. But when Yesod gives the portion to Malchut, it is not given through a proper zinor, a channel. Because Yesod has broken, the light comes revealed and forceful, and Malchut also breaks. Yet Malchut does not break in exactly the same way as the others. After tikkun, she is able to become a full part zuf, even though she begins as only a single point. That is already a sign of the hidden strength of Malchut. She falls, but she is destined to be built. The chapter then explains what it means that the kings died. The lights withdrew upward to their root, but sparks of kedusha remain inside the broken vessels. Those vessels fell downward, and from them came the root of the kelipot. Even when the food is separated from the waste, sparks of holiness still remain trapped below. This is the human task of tikkun. That means prayer is not only asking for help. Mitzvot are not only religious actions. Ma'asim tovim, good deeds, are not only kindness on the surface. They are ways of lifting Nitzotzot, sparks of holiness, out of concealment. The souls of Tzaddikim, when they leave this world, also pass through the worlds and raise sparks, from Asiyah to Yetzirah, from Yetzirah to Beriah, and from Beriah to Atzilut. This rising of awakened sparks is called Mayin nukvin, feminine waters. Mayin nukvin means the arousal from below. The upper light gives, but the lower world must awaken. When a person prays with sincerity, resists impurity, studies Torah, gives charity, forgives, disciplines the body, or sanctifies speech, something rises. A buried spark says, I want to return. That movement from below creates the vessel for a new flow from above. The Ari then connects this to the Asara Harugei Malchut, the 10 martyrs of the kingdom. At the time of destruction, sin caused the kelipah to strengthen. and the world lacked the power to raise those sparks. Their self-sacrifice became Mayin nukvin for Malchut, and their souls raised sparks even to Abba and Ima. This is also connected with the phrase Kah Allah be-machshavah, so it arose in thought, spoken about Rabbi Akiva. Finally, the Ari says that it was not only the 7 lower vessels that needed tikkun. Chokmah and Bina also needed repair, because their relationship was not yet face-to-face. Something from their achorayim, their backside aspect, fell below. From these fallen excesses come deep roots of Torah and Shekinah. The sages say, Novelet Chokmah shel Ma'alah Torah, and Novelet Bina shel Ma'alah Shekinah. A fallen remnant of supernal Chokmah becomes Torah below. A fallen remnant of supernal Bina becomes Shekinah below. This is amazing. What looks like falling can become the very material of revelation. What descends can become Torah. What is hidden in exile can become Shekinah. What is broken can become the place where God is found. The chapter closes by showing this pattern in prayer. In Nefilat Apayim, the falling of the face, we symbolically give over the nefesh and raise sparks for Rachel, meaning the nukvah, so that Zeir Anpin and nukvah can unite. And in the Yihud of Shema Yisrael, Zeir Anpin and nukvah rise toward Abba and Ima, raising the sparks that fell from them, so that a higher union can take place. So the whole chapter is one flowing map. The Creator wills goodness. A hidden point emerges. Inner and surrounding lights appear. The 10 points unfold. Light descends through measured openings. Some vessels can bear it, some cannot. The vessels break, sparks fall, kelipot take root, and then the work of tikkun begins. And that is where we are. We live inside the repair. Every holy word, every prayer, every act of restraint, every sincere tear, every time we choose kedusha over chaos, we are raising Mayin nukvin. We are telling the fallen sparks, you are not forgotten. Return to your root. Return to the light. The world is not merely broken. It is breakage that contains sparks. The soul is not merely struggling. It is a vessel being widened. And the light that feels too great today may become the light you can hold tomorrow. When the keli becomes stronger, cleaner, and more able to receive the goodness for which creation began. Shalom.